Christopher. I want your opinion. I think that the gravest threats to Western democracy aren't foreign armies or terrorists, but private central banks and electronic voting. I wonder if you could comment on that.
Well, absolutely, I agree. I mean, there's been more economic devastation done by the banksters on Wall Street than any terrorist organization could do. And I absolutely agree with you. The fact is that we've got way bigger problems within our own structures with the corruption of the financial system than to be worrying about a handful of guys hiding up in mountains in Afghanistan. I mean, when you look at it from that perspective, it's pretty ludicrous to use the argument that the terrorists are going to come flying out of the mountains to come and get us. It's idiotic.
Although they did make a pretty big splash with 9/11.
Well, that's true, but I'm afraid, again, as a strategic analyst, I question the veracity of the claims of the U.S. government on that. And here's a simple empirical truth that anybody can go check out. Of the so-called terrorists who flew those planes into those buildings, at least 7 of them were discovered not to be on the planes, but perfectly alive. And free and citizens of Saudi Arabia and the Middle East. There are too many anomalies in 9/11. Let me be clear, though, I'm no conspiracy theorist. You know that.
Yeah.
I work on facts as an analyst, and here's a simple rule of thumb. There's one anomaly with data, okay, you can ignore it. If there's 2, you should look at it. If there's 3 or more, there's something wrong with the data, or there's something wrong with how you're perceiving events. And when you look at the history of 9/11, to put it in context, the events that followed, I was privy to much of these events because I was an analyst in Saudi Arabia to the royal family. I saw too many issues that came up. And most of the people, when you look at the repercussions of it, we have been sucked into a bunch of wars that historically we should never have been involved in. And the empirical proof to that, we call them false flag operations in the intelligence world, is the history of the Tonkin Gulf incident, the USS Liberty, the Reichstag fire, Operation Gladio. I mean, the list just goes on and on, where Western governments have created their own problems, directly or indirectly.
We expect the Truth Party to talk about 9/11, say it's an inside job. We're going to say, of course it's an inside job. Instead of running around and making videos and telling everybody as if spreading the word's going to matter, it's time to come up with a plan to just replace these people who have pulled off these attacks and covered it up with fiction through their media. There's no politician in this country. We have 308 members of parliament in the Canadian government, and not one of them says that it's an inside job. Hundreds of MLAs, provincially, 10 provinces, 3 territories. Doesn't matter what party. Liberal, Conservative, NDP, Bloc Québécois. They all stand together on these issues. They're not going to break ranks. We have a hyper-corrupt government system based on debt, run by banks. One senator in Canada or the United States that'll tell you these terror attacks are in-house. Not one congressman. 435 members of the U.S. House of Representatives, not one of them says it's an inside job. No one in Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Sweden, Switzerland, Italy, not one. And they're never going to tell you it's an inside job, because the entire architecture of Western government and media is an inside job. 9/11 is just a small part of it, just one thread. When you pull on it, though, the entire facade around this apparatus comes unraveled. We get told what happens, and we believe what we're told because those who tell us have credibility. Nobody saw a plane hit the Pentagon. Nobody. Never happened. Let's be honest. The military is going to do whatever it wants. You're not going to stop them. Not if you keep voting for Republicans and Democrats and going back and forth between these two parties that are both owned by the same entities that control the military apparatus. That's how they're able to stage false flag terror attacks. That's how they're able to stage underwear bombers. And who's the Secretary of Peace anyway? Do we have any person on the planet whose job is to make sure that there isn't a war going on right now, and when can we replace this person because they're not doing a very good job? Simultaneous wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, now bombings in Pakistan, incursions into North Africa from the Nobel Peace Prize winner. The Peace Prize is pretty much a slap in the face to all humanity to give it to the commander-in-chief of the world's most aggressive military machine. Sort of felt like getting our noses rubbed in pee with someone else let loose on the rug. I tried to make contact with people who really did want peace. Former leaders, Green Party, peace activists. Where are they now? We have a supposed left-wing, here's one. We have a supposed left-wing president, so that's it? Where's the anti-war voice in the age of Obama? Were people really against the war, or did they just hate Bush that much that now that it's someone else commanding the tanks and the missiles and the Predator drones, it's okay? We're ruled by fear. Fear of the next terror attack, when the last terror attack was fake. Then they write new policies trying to prevent these attacks, when they could just easily prevent them by not staging them.
Have a sense, if we imagine the kind of world we would face if the people who bombed the Best Hall in Mosul, or the people who did the bombing in Spain, or the people who attacked the United States in New York, shot down the plane over Pennsylvania and attacked the Pentagon.
I got 2 mics. Oh, is that right? Yeah. How are you? Good, sir. How are you? I'm alone, and but we gotta try. I see what's going on. I gotta do something. I'm glad you are. All right.